Chelsea, well, Leicester 2, Leicester 2, Leicester 1, Chelsea 2 in the Premier League. What an intro, guys. What an intro. We all know the score. I don't need to repeat myself. You know what happened if you watch this match. Otherwise, don't worry. We're going to be going through everything regarding this game. I never go live on the day of a match, but it was a 12:30 kickoff, and I'm recording a podcast for the channel at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning in London. I said, why not? Let's do it. Let's do it. Come on, let's go live tonight. Let's see what everyone's saying. Let's go through the game and let's talk everything Chelsea regarding what we have seen today. Big up to everyone that is watching. Big up to everyone in the chat, not only on YouTube, but also on X as well. We are live on both platforms at this moment in time. It would be very interesting to see what you all have to say. So let me know in the comments what you think. Are you happy? Are you not happy? Are you satisfied? Where do you see us going after this result? Is this the start of more good results, irrespective of the performance? We're certainly going to dig into that, or do we need to look at this and really sort of be open and honest and say, even though we won, it wasn't good enough? So which side are you on, guys? Let me know in the chat. And if you haven't already, smash the like button. It does help massively. It shows that you're actually enjoying the content, and that encourages us to make much more for you. But yeah, I mean, let's dive into it, guys. Let's dive into it. Sometimes one of the easiest ways to look at things is just to start from the beginning. Okay, so I think sometimes you've just got to look at the team that we selected for this match. So that's the first thing I want to go through. I want to go through the team. I want to go through the players that Madueke chose going into this match, and whether I'm happy or not happy with those players. Yeah, let's get into it. Okay, I'm going to share my screen with you now. Feels like I've not been on StreamYard for ages. I've forgotten how to use it. Here we go. Right, okay. Yes, here we go. So these are the stats from the game. You know what? Stats aren't everything, but they are something, and they're not worth making if you're not going to at least acknowledge that they're there, right? So we can talk about what we've seen, but I do like to go over stats as well. We dominated possession quite comfortably, 63%. 37% for Leicester. We had 7 shots on target to their 1, 6 off target to their 2, and we created 2 big chances, resulting in 2 goals. Actually, no, we missed one of our big chances as well, didn't we? 3 blocks for us and 1 block for them. So yeah, I mean, let's go over the lineup, guys. Yeah, I mean, Robert Sanchez, I don't know why this guy still starts at Chelsea. I really don't understand it. For me, this is like one of the biggest puzzles in football, but it's not an advanced puzzle. It's a puzzle that you give your 5-year-old, and anyone that knows anything about football or has ever watched football knows that Robert Sanchez isn't good enough. Like, this is not rocket science. This is not something difficult. Forget GCSE maths. Like, this is easier than that. This is basic. I don't know how this guy still starts for Chelsea. I don't understand it. But to be honest, I'm not even going to speak about Robert Sanchez too much, because let's talk about other areas of the pitch. He was very uninfluential today, although I would argue the only influence Robert Sanchez had was actually giving Leicester the momentum that they ended up getting in the first half, to put us under the pressure that they did, because we were under no pressure until Robert Sanchez had the ball and started kicking it to them. Or you could say, you know what? Well, we gave the ball away. Why did we give the ball away? Because Sanchez puts our defenders, our midfielders, in terrible positions with his passing. Now, I'm no expert of football. You know, a lot of the stuff that I see from the stands. I don't see replays like a lot of people watching from home. But I don't like what I see from Sanchez. This is no different than any other game. And it's like Charlie said after his fan cam. He said to me, he said, Alex, do you know how we solve the Sanchez issue? by not conceding any chances. Well, hallelujah, we figured it out. We figured it out. Goodness gracious. It's like when Jacob said, Reece James, hey, listen, I know how we can get the best out of you. Don't get injured. Oh, my goodness. I've never thought of that one before. So, yeah, Robert Sanchez, look, he didn't do anything, but just makes me nervous. I'm sure he makes you nervous. But how can he not make you nervous? Robert Sanchez, I don't understand why he's playing for us. I really don't understand it. Like, I'm not trying to sit here and sound negative, but there's actually very few negatives for this. So that's always positive. But we do have to speak about what we don't like as well, unfortunately. I wish we could just talk about positives all day, but there are a couple of things that we certainly can improve on. But yeah, I mean, listen, guys, Robert Sanchez, probably the worst out of the bunch for me. But again, he's a goalkeeper. Let's not talk about it too much. Let's try and stick to the positives. One thing I also want to talk about is how happy I am with the defending today. Listen, Lavia came on and conceded a penalty. I don't think that is what we should be looking at, saying, fucking hell, we conceded another goal. It's his fault. It's their fault. Lavia has been injured. Well, he's not been available. I'm sure he picked up a small little niggle. I don't know too much about it, if I'm honest. I'm not going to criticize Lavia that much. I'm not going to do it. It was a soft penalty, but it was a penalty. But I thought Fofana was really good today. I thought it was fantastic. I was really, really happy with what I saw from Fofana. A player that I have been very critical of, very openly critical of. I've said it that I would rather have Tosin in the side than Fofana. At this moment in time, how wrong was I? How wrong am I? But I don't mind being wrong. I don't mind it. It's not a problem for me, right? I want the players to do well. And I want to have players that want to play for Chelsea. That's my only concern with Fofana is, if another club comes calling, I don't see him as a loyal player. I just don't see it. And that's one of my issues with him. But I have to talk about this game by game. And today was fantastic. Arguably man of the match. Cucurella is another player that could have been man of the match in some people's eyes. He was, and Enzo Fernandez for me was my man of the match. But we'll dive onto him in a second. So yeah, I'm really happy with what I saw from Wesley Fofana. I thought he did really, really well, and he was aggressive. His dribbling was good. He operated well in the tight spaces. He made good passes. No messing around from him. So yeah, big up to Wesley Fofana, and I hope to see many, many more performances like that in a Chelsea shirt. And I hope he can stay fit. I really do. I don't want to have another Reece James scenario on our hands in terms of the centre-back. I think it's quite obvious, actually, we need to dip into the market and get a right-back because you can't have Fofana playing there every week. But, I mean, we'll get into that as well. Cucurella, he's solid every week. I don't really see any game weeks under Enzo Maresca and think to myself, Cucurella has not been great. Is he the best left-back in the league? Arguably. He's arguably the best left back. I think maybe Robertson is just in front of him, but I'd probably take Cucurella over everyone else in the league. I'd take him over everyone else. This is not just a statement that's out there, right? Okay, we've got the best player. This is a player like Palmer, to be fair. And Palmer didn't have his best game today, but if you look at the history of Palmer in a Chelsea shirt, he just keeps proving himself. He keeps proving week in, week out why he deserves to start, why the fans love him. Although Cucurella has had more of a comeback story. So it's not like it started off well. It started off very badly. It was poor. And he has made himself into a real... I tell you what, it's so hard to do what he's done, but he's done it so well. He has gone from the most hated player in a Chelsea shirt, not hated because we didn't like Cucurella as a person, but because of his performances on the pitch, to one of the most loved players, a player who has a chant about him, sung throughout all of the games, especially away from home, because that's where you get the majority of atmosphere. Really happy with what I saw from him. Different role as well for Cucurella. I mean, he was further up the pitch, wasn't he? He was whipping crosses in. Not a role that we've seen him do much, but I thought he handled it himself very well. And Enzo Fernandez. Listen, Matt Dav. I tell you what, mate. It's interesting, isn't it, when we talk about Enzo Fernandez has been a real split, a real divide. I stand by what I said, by the way, with Enzo Fernandez. Lavia is a better player than him, in my opinion. I do think that they're different players. So I will say that. I do think they're very different players. Lavia's more defensive. But I do think if you're playing Enzo in that typical pivot, he's never going to start out of Lavia. Not in the bigger games, especially, because we're too vulnerable. But he wasn't in that normal pivot today, was he? He was slightly further up, and he was on the right-hand side. And you almost had Caicedo sort of on his own throughout that game. But there was still support there. But I loved what I saw from Enzo Fernandez. I absolutely loved it. In fact, I want to hear from. Well, first of all, I'm going to show you two videos. I'm going to show you a video from one of the fan cams, and I'm going to show you a video from the vlog as well. Let's start off looking at what Matt, because it wouldn't be fair if I didn't hear from Enzo Fernandez's biggest fan, and that is Matt. So let's see what Matt had to say regarding Enzo Fernandez.
From Chelsea Fan TV, I hope you're all doing very well. Chelsea 2, Leicester 1. Matt, what are you going to do to celebrate?
I'm going to London. I want to celebrate properly, mate. Enzo Fernandez, man of the match. Badia Shield, hell of a performance today as well. First time I've seen him. Very, very good back. Everything done. Yeah. Step out of line. Good, another good team performance, mate. I'm just happy to crack on forward, mate. Like absolute buzzing, mate. Enzo fucking Fernandez, mate. There's a lot of people that need to be shushed right now. He's been fucking good, mate, and he has been good. It's just people just fucking wanting to jump on the bandwagon and fucking moan about something.
So you think he's been good all season?
Like, yeah, like just as much as anyone, like all of them players in their team, in that team, are putting a shift in and putting a number in. The only fella that ain't is, in my opinion, Sanchez, and that's just because for his pure footballing IQ and his ability to kick out the ball. Shot stopping, decent, but even last two games, he had the near post shot that he should have saved, and that penalty is fucking there, looked straight at him, and it doesn't even look like a penalty as well. What a shocking decision! He looked like he fell over.
But when we see a lot of the decisions as well, like in terms of the lineup, I was a bit surprised with something we saw Felix start.
You get the gist, guys. Matt's a very happy guy. He's a happy man. Let's see the other video. This is Enzo Fernandez's goal. Captured in the vlog. So yeah, let's check this out.
Go on! Brilliant goal. Brilliant goal. Love it. Great follow-up play from Fernandez. Fantastic. 2-0. That's what we needed.
I mean, to be fair, I do hold the phone quite close to my face, don't I? Bloody hell. Do you know what? Sometimes when you're at the match, Jesus Christ. Sometimes when I'm at the match, I forget to zoom in and out. You get caught in the moment, don't you? Maybe I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. That's not my finest moment. But yeah, there you go. So Matt's a happy man. I'm a happy man. I'm sure Enzo Fernandez is a happy man. Listen, big up to him. Great performance. One of his better performances in the Chelsea shirt. The nice thing about this as well is one of the things that I've been very critical of with Enzo Maresca is, look, you've got a player in Enzo Fernandez who hasn't had a great season. Let's not kid ourselves. He's not had a great season. He's had some good games, and he's had some okay games, and he's had some rubbish games. Quite a mixed bag if you look at it over the whole. But my biggest criticism, especially towards the beginning of the season, was why is Maresca not playing him in his natural position? Why is Maresca not making his life easier? Because you can talk all you want about a player underperforming. It's like last season we saw Fernandez play at Brentford and it looked like he was on the wing. You're not helping him, are you, Pochettino? And I thought the same thing with Maresca. Why are you playing him so far up the pitch? But listen, he got dropped deep into more of a pivot role. I actually still think he underperformed in a few of those games, although he was good in some of them, Panathinaikos and a couple of others. I think he scored a couple, got 3 assists against Noah. although I still thought he made mistakes. So defensively, very vulnerable. On this right-hand side, it's nice. It's good. But is that a system we're going to adopt many times? I don't know. We'll see. If that is, then maybe that's a great way of fitting Fernandez in, because I don't see another player on that right-hand side of midfield. And it's not on the far right. It's still central, very integral to our build-up and creating, being able to spread the ball as well as layoff passes that players can run onto in that front line. I think it suits Enzo Fernandez really well. And I'd love to see him continue to play in that role. But then again, what happens when Lavia's fit? Are we going to go back to that sort of double pivot? We tried to fit in João Felix alongside Palmer. So you had Felix in more of a diamond, a little bit closer to the center of the park rather than stretched out wide. That's why Cucurella was further up. And then you have Fofana, more of a defensive classic right back role. He wasn't really bombing up the pitch. He was making runs and he was certainly getting up there at times. But not very similar to what I would have seen from Gusto. Different type of player, different role altogether. So I do think that, I was happy with the way we adjusted. I don't think you couldn't be happy. Let's see what the comments are saying, guys. Big up to everyone that's watching. We've got almost 200 of you on X. We've got 179 on X. We've got 33 people on YouTube. The algorithm is absolutely fucked. I don't know what's going on with the algorithm. Nobody's getting views on YouTube. I looked at TNT Sports. We've only got 17,000 views. So if they're only getting 17K, to be fair, I'm not expecting much. But big up to everyone that's watching regardless. Listen, no more of these stupid international breaks. Club football is back, baby. It is back. Big up to Daniel. I hope you're doing very well, mate. Chelsea boy, good to see you as well. Brian CFC, big up to you, my friend. Always a pleasure to see you in here. Shorty says, sup, Alex. Good win today, but we've got to do better still. The question is where? Where do we need to do better? That's what I ask you in the chat. Deals, big up to you, my friend. Big up, Alex. I thought everyone played well today, apart from Noni, Madueke, and Palmer and Sanchez. Fair enough. Nitro says, I am happy with the 3 points, but we need to learn how to finish games off like this much earlier. We dominated the game for longer periods, but took our foot off the pedal too early. To be realistic, top 4 should be our target this season. I am happy with Jackson's improvement concerning his finishing. We should be able to accumulate points in our next 10 games. Well said, Nitro. Catfish Baller. Alex, what do you think about a duo centre-back today? Very happy with our centre-backs. I mean, it's 3 in net. Fofana's still a centre-back. He was just played on the right. But if you're asking me specifically about Badiashile and Colwell, I was happy with them both. I think one of the nice things about having Badiashile in there, although we haven't seen him start in the Premier League and perform well. He made a good impact against Liverpool when he came on as a substitute. And then I can't remember which other game we played. Oh, Newcastle was disgusting. I thought, what the hell are we doing here? But you know what? When you're around bums, it's hard to play well, And when you're surrounded by the better teammates, I can imagine as a player, it elevates your level. But you have to be good enough to elevate. But also we have to be realistic in terms of our opponent. Leicester aren't exactly anything special, are they? Their best player is almost 40 years old. So let's not sit here and say, we're playing one of the toughest sides in the league. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. And I do think that we took our foot off the gas. I agree with you on that. But yeah, I was happy with Badiashile. I think that he sort of gives that. We've got a lot of fire in there with Fofana and Colwell and Cucurella. He gives us a bit of ice, a bit like what we say with Madueke and Palmer, evens it out. Different type of profile. Not an aggressive defender. I certainly wouldn't say that. But when things come off for Badiashile, it just looks effortless. It looks like he's in control. And that's always a nice thing as well. And I like the way he passes the ball as well. I do think that when he gets his passing right, he pings it. And that's what you want. You want to move the ball quick. Although some would argue we should have moved it quicker. I spoke to Kev after the game and his dad, Colton, and they said it was boring. I went, what? What do you mean boring? And he went, well, we didn't find it very exciting. And to be fair, you can understand what they mean. But I mean, guys, you're not going to play 5-star football every week, are you? Away at Leicester, we've just had international break. I think it's still a good result, even though you would argue we should have won by 2, 3, 4 goals. But listen, a win is a win, as far as I'm concerned. Deal says Cooker's the best left back in the Prem. There's certainly an argument to be had about that. Snow says Maresca pisses you off. Why is that, my friend? What pisses you off? Are you a hairdresser? Do you not like his hair or his lack of hair? We are now third on the table, absolutely. Life is looking good. Maresca's style is a bit too passive. They don't push the advantage and take chances as much as they should. They take passing back and possession over a 1v1. I can agree with that. But also, you're never going to have the best of everything, are you? You're never going to have the best of everything. You know which manager was great at that? Was Thomas Tuchel. He had the balance between passing the ball out and, still being direct and taking chances. But, the problem that we had with Tuchel, and we're looking at these owners specifically, is he couldn't collaborate. So you want a collaborative coach, and this is the way he plays. For some coaches, positives, there's going to be other negatives. And yes, you could argue that it's a little bit too slow. You would also say, though, that if we had better quality in terms of taking our chances, I don't know if you'd say the same. Like, if we scored 4 goals, would you say the same thing? I don't know. Yeah, let's continue from where we were, right? So I spoke about Colwell, I spoke about Badiashile, very happy with both of them. I do think Colwell needs to improve aerially. I think, I need to see some goals, guys. I need to see some goals from our centre-backs. We don't have any aerial threats at the top end of the pitch, except for maybe Madueke. I don't think Jackson's a massive aerial threat. Palmer never even attempts to jump for it. I don't see Felix getting stuck in. So I want to see our centre-backs doing more. I want to see Badiashile, Colwell, Fofana, even Cucurella, to be honest with you. I'd like to see them contribute with some goals, whether that's on a set piece or just getting in the box at times. We used to have Marcus Alonso, who was a goal-scoring left wing-back. Cucurella is certainly a very different profile, much better defensively than Alonso ever was. But, can he add goals to his game? Although I'd say, he looked good creatively. He did create a couple of chances with some good crosses. But yeah, definitely want to see more from our centre backs. Our set pieces have been really poor this year, one of the worst in the league, if I'm not wrong. I think our win percentage in terms of headers as well is one of the worst in the league. We saw that stat just before Liverpool. I don't know how that's evolved since I last read it out. But yeah. Let's talk about Madueke, guys. Let's talk about Madueke. I mean, what do we think about Madueke? Are we happy with what we're seeing from this player? Do we think that he can offer more? What's the stance here, guys? What are we thinking? Are you happy? Are you unhappy? What's the crack? I think this video I've got, and it's only a short video, is probably a good summary of Madueke. It's like a couple of seconds, but this is Madueke all over today for me. A lot of nothing. Oh. I feel like I agree with you. I agree with you, Dills. I do think he needs to be dropped. I don't even have anything against Madueke. And just to be clear, guys, I don't even think he has a big attitude problem. I'll be totally honest. I don't think his attitude's been that bad. Like this whole scenario with him storming down the tunnel when he got substituted the other day. The guy needed a piss. What's the problem with that? I don't care. Listen, if there's a genuine concern with his attitude, and like these are two-sided equations, of course they are. You know that you had the penalty decision with Palmer last season. He's had his fair share of moments apart from that. So I'm not going to sit here and say Madueke never does anything. He does have moments, but I think Madueke is just one of them players. He's just a player. He's got a bit of character. I want characters in this team, but you've got to mold characters to play the right way for your team. Is he really embodied into the squad? Has he cemented his place in this side? Absolutely not. Maresca just has an extreme level of trust in Madueke, which is similar to what I would say for Robert Sanchez and what I said earlier on in the season about Enzo Fernandez. But I do think there's flexibility there with Enzo Maresca, because eventually Fernandez got dropped and we saw Lavia thrive in that position. And he brought Fernandez back in. And I think now Fernandez obviously he's playing better. He got an assist and a goal today. So I think that's what Madueke needs. He needs a short stint out, maybe play him on Thursday nights against Astana or something, maybe not Heidenheim, give him a little bit of a break. But just a couple of weeks out, like we've got more than enough quality there with Neto. Sancho's back in the equation as well. I'd like to see Mudryk get more minutes. I do think Mudryk is improving in this team. I don't know what you guys think about that. What do you mean by that, Snow? You don't want characters like Madueke. What is it about his character that you don't like? Do you think he's too selfish? Is that the problem? Because I would also argue that I want a player with some balls. And Madueke's got fucking balls. The problem is he's an idiot at times as well. You know, and when we had Sancho on the left and Madueke on the right, nobody was complaining. Yeah, you have bad games. Everyone can criticize individual games, but nobody was really complaining. We always said we had a player who was too unselfish in Sancho and a player who was selfish on the other side. So it actually balanced itself out quite nicely. So I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't like Madueke. I quite like him, to be honest with you, but I still think he should be dropped. His football IQ, his awareness, I don't know, maybe if it's even his confidence and his ability, because I don't think he's a great crosser of the ball with his right foot. Neto's certainly a better crosser of the ball. But, you know, he is playing the way he likes to play. It's nice to have a winger who drives at players and doesn't just fucking pass backwards. You know how frustrating that is when you got a player who's got the ball and he just passes back, doesn't even attempt to take a player on. So I do think that Madueke, I think Madueke certainly deserves more, not credit, but patience, you know, because he is improving. He's getting better. But it's not a quick process like it was with Jackson. I mean, you can see last season and this season with Nicholas Jackson, just a clear difference. You can see a clear upgrade. But not every player moves at that speed. I would say the same thing for Mudryk. Mudryk has clearly improved, but it's not as much as Jackson. And I think that Madueke has improved as well. First of all, like, he wasn't getting this game time last season. He wasn't. Not at this point in the season. He still wasn't being played consistently. And he's already got that faith from the manager. His work ethic has improved massively. He tracks back much better than he did last season. His defensive work has been good. I agree with what you say about his end product, tap out time. I agree with that. And blocking the shot summed up his game. It doesn't sum up him. That summed up that specific game. But he does need to work on his right foot as well, because I think his shooting has probably improved on that right side. I mean, he did score, I think he scored 2 goals with his right foot against Wolves. But it's the crossing. It's the creative aspect. Yeah, you can still be a great winger and not score a lot of goals, especially you got a striker who's scoring like Nico, and you got Palmer in the middle as well. So, you know, they're naturally going to score more goals, and they are natural goal scorers. So focus on creating for them. And if you get your chance, take your chance. You always will. So I don't see what the big fuss is in terms of Madueke, but I do agree that he should be dropped. I don't think there's any reason why he wouldn't be. I think Maresca will. I do think he'll drop him, especially against Villa. I think what we'll see against Villa is Sancho on the left, providing he's fully fit, and I believe he will be, and Neto on the right. I think that we've seen Neto play his best football on the right in recent games. Although, listen, I think he's pretty good on the left as well. Like, it depends if you want more balance on the left-hand side defensively. But I think Cucurella is more than capable of covering that side. It depends on the system as well, doesn't it? João Felix, I think that he had a good game. I don't understand why people didn't think he had a good game. One or two people said that to me after the game, but the majority of the people agree. João Felix played well. He was good. He was lively. Tried to make things happen. Good dribbling. Very good dribbling, actually. Don't really remember him having many shots at goal. Let me know if I'm wrong. Did he have any good passes throughout that game as well? Like any key passes? Let me know. I'm trying to think. But yeah, in terms of the pitch itself, like I think João Felix was a solid 7 out of 10. He was good. He was decent. I thought defensively he was excellent. Track back. Got stuck in 50-50s. Won a lot of his 50-50s as well. His duels were good. He had a shot, but he bluffed his chances. Bless me. Woo. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I think João Felix was all right, guys. I think he was all right. Now, is that a performance that would be acceptable if we played against Liverpool? Would people say the same thing, or Man City? Probably not, because we wouldn't have as much possession. We would need to do more against teams like that and penetrate more. But I like Felix, and I think that in these type of games, look, it was the right decision to play him. He's not going to have much game time anyway in the Premier League. I think he'll probably end up. In fact, I don't know. Do you think he'll play against Heidenheim? If he played today, I don't know if he'll play against Heidenheim. We'll probably see Dewsbury Hall, Mudryk. I honestly don't know who we're going to see on Thursday. But I wouldn't be annoyed if we saw João Felix play again. I think he's gagging for game time. So give the man what he wants and let him prove himself over a period of, even if it's just a couple of games in a row. Give us a reason. Give us a reason to put our belief in you, our faith in you. Because if you go 3 games without getting anything in terms of GA and all you're doing is a few flicks and tricks, and I do think that's what Felix is good at. But what are those resulting in? Are we just doing it for the highlight reel, or are we actually getting somewhere with it? I think today Felix was an asset to the team, so I didn't have a problem with him. I thought he had a good performance. Happy with João Felix. Really happy with Caicedo in the middle as well. For me, it's one of those players now, a bit like Cucurella, who I just look at and I say, you had a good game. You had a great game. And I'm not surprised. And I shouldn't be surprised because you're that good. Whoever plays next to him, generally speaking, Caicedo's better. But I'm glad to see he played well with, Fernandez in the midfield as well. There's this myth that Caicedo can't play well with Fernandez. He can. But again, Maresca says it all the time, right? It's about finding the balance. We found the balance today. But maybe we were a little bit too cautious at times as well in terms of playing passive football and not being as aggressive as we would have liked to have been, especially against a relegation team such as Leicester. And I do think they'll go down, to be honest with you. I don't think Steve Cooper will keep them up. They don't have enough quality. They just lack quality. Their manager is a good manager, but he's not a miracle worker. I think Wolves will stay up. I think Ipswich have a better manager in McKenna as well. It's going to be tough. It's going to be very tough. So I do see Leicester going down, although one of the better away days you've got. Fantastic atmosphere from the fans, guys. I was really, really impressed with what I saw from the away fans. I think, listen, every time we go out there, we give it a good crack, don't we? We're singing away. We're singing all these songs. I don't think we can compare the away atmosphere to what we had under Tommy Tuchel a couple of years ago. If anyone went to that game, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. You probably heard it on the TV as well. But yeah, I mean, it was a good performance by the away fans as well. I think ultimately, we just need to look at this and try and take the positives, guys. Try and take the positives from it. Let's see what people had to say after this game. I'd be interested to see what the manager had to say as well. And once again, guys, can we not appreciate the fact that we are catching up Man City? Is that not a fantastic thing? Is that not beautiful? Let's have a look at the Premier League table together. I remember when I was young, and when I say young, I mean, let's just say 10 years ago. Or I remember 10 years ago when I looked at the Premier League table, and I just expected it. I wasn't even surprised that Chelsea were there, and how much I appreciate sitting third with 22 points after 12 games, with a goal difference of 9. I appreciate that so much after what we went through. I really, really do. We went through some shit, man, over the past couple of years. I mean, I was literally there every game. I might have missed 2 or 3. But at pretty much every single game I was there when we lost like 10 in a row under Lampard or Potter or whatever it was. The most depressing time to be a Chelsea fan in the 21st century was that season a couple of years ago. And last season wasn't an easy season either under Poch. I mean, that was certainly a testing year. But I mean, look, we have picked up some real stability. That's the key word, isn't it? Stability. And that's something we've lacked. So you have to give credit to Maresca. So whatever you want to say about his playing style or anything like that, I mean, can you criticize where we are? Like, what do you want? Like, what else can we do? We have some great players, but we don't have better players than City. We don't have better players than Liverpool in terms of our starting lineup. We don't. Probably Arsenal we could compete with on some fronts, but it's relatively even still. So, like, we are where we need to be, but we should not take credit away from the players and the manager who have put us in this position. This is a great position to be in. I hope that we can maintain this position, and that's what I'm looking for. Official player of the match was Enzo Fernandez. For those of you who didn't know, so big up to him. Joe Cole said after the match, everything is looking very positive for Chelsea, and look, why wouldn't he say that? Because things are looking pretty damn good. Ultimately, you can park the bus every week, and if you're winning football matches, you're going to get praise. I don't think we played the best football today. I think it's going to get better. I think we'll probably play a more attractive style against Villa. Heidenheim will probably be relatively slow because we have our second team. But yeah, guys, let's bring some positivity into this. Let's not be negative. Let's look at the positives. Nicholas Jackson says the most important thing is we won the game and we got 3 points. We know the months of November and December. There are a lot of games, so we try to recover and prepare for the next ones coming. And he is not wrong. The next 2 months is going to be key. December and January. I tell you what, if we can ride that wave, and it's not even just performances, if we can ride the injury wave and keep a full fit squad, we are going to have a great season, guys. That is the difference between us finishing in the top 4 and not finishing in the top 4. What happens if Palmer gets injured? What happens if Caicedo goes out? Anyone, a key player, could make a huge difference. I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't think that we can do it. Of course we can do it, but it's going to be a real hindrance to us. So even if we lose games, that's not my concern. My concern is whether we could keep the squad fit We've had some bad injury problems over the years. So I don't want this season to repeat itself. It's very refreshing to see that the majority of players are available. I know we got Reece James out. We had Sancho out. Lavia's coming back. You got Neto as well. But that list was 4 times longer last year, 3 times longer. So let's keep it as a short list, and I think we'll be just fine. Nicholas Jackson also said, I'm just working every game to try and score to help the team. Always, we don't look at the teams in front of us. We try to win every game, and we'll see how it goes. Enzo Fernandez after the game said, I'm really happy for the team and for the win. Most importantly, I am very happy for Nico. We keep going, we keep working, and keep pushing. Very, very nice comments from Enzo Fernandez. Nice to see he's got a bit of humility about him. But listen, I think credit needs to be given, because if you look at his stats in this game, Enzo Fernandez was absolutely sensational, and it's no surprise that he is man of the match. 90 minutes played, 1 goal, 1 assist, 79 touches, 84% pass completion, 3 key passes, 1 big chance created, 1 shot on target, 7 out of 9, ground duels 1, 2 clearances, 1 interception. Now, listen, I didn't have to read that all, but let's milk it. The man played well. And big up to Enzo Fernandez. And big up to everyone watching as well. We've got almost 300 people watching on all platforms. If you haven't already, smash the like button. It does make a massive difference. It shows that you are enjoying the content, and it will allow me to continue to make the content. Also with Nicholas Jackson as well, big up to him. He didn't quite get the full 90. He got subs off at the end. But he played 89 minutes. 1 goal, 3 shots on target, a dribble completed. It was the only one he went for, but he completed it. So 100% record on that. 28 touches, 1 key pass, across, a big chance created, a couple of tackles in there as well. Big up to Nicholas Jackson. Another player who had some stuff to say after this game was Wesley Fofana. He said, after the international break, it is a bit harder. Some players only came back yesterday. We played well and we won the game, which is the most important thing. The job is done. We have the 3 points. So again, when we criticize the performance, guys, try and understand what these players are going through in terms of travel schedules, recovery time. It's not easy, especially for players like Caicedo, I think was one of the players who come back on Thursday or Friday. It's not good. It's unhealthy for footballers to be treated this way. And the fact that we still managed to get the 3 points, I think that's the most important thing, isn't it? Ultimately holding on to the result. Leicester City boss Steve Cooper said, we've had some terrible luck with this referee. That continued today. I don't know what the fuck you're on about, mate. He literally gave you a penalty, and what are you talking about? It was quite a soft penalty as well, but it was a penalty. So yeah. And the Fofana penalty didn't even stick his leg out. So, and he didn't give your player a red card when it could have arguably been a red card for the challenge on Cole Palmer. The commentator said that should be a red card. That's on Sky or TNT Sports. So I think that you would argue that Maresca could have been saying the same thing. But the difference is we leave with 3 points. Steve Cooper leaves with fuck all. An invitation to the championship. That's what he leaves with. But listen, I hope Leicester stay up. I do like Leicester. It's a nice away day, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Enzo Maresca said after the game, all of the games are important. It's really important to win again. He also said when asked about Nicholas Jackson, for me, he's doing very well. He is working hard on and off the ball. He is making an effort to understand the way we play. We are very happy with Nico. We're sure he's going to get better. And if that means he's going to get better, remember, guys, we have only played 12 games in the Premier League. Only 12 games. Now, how many goals has Nicholas Jackson scored in that period? How many goals has this man scored? says 7 goals on Chelsea's official website. I thought it was 8. Let me just double check that. I thought it was 8. How many goals has Nicholas Jackson scored this season? Oh, you're right. 7 goals. Still 50% conversion rate. Over a 50% conversion rate. I'm not going to complain. The guy's doing well. The man is performing well. Just clinical, isn't he? Clinical. If he continues going the way that he's going over the course of a season, what? How many games are you going to play? Right, let's just say he plays 38 games. All right. Divide that by 2. 19. So he has a little bit more than that. So you're probably looking at about 21 goals. Maybe 22 at a push. If he continues this vein of form that he has right now. So that's a very good season. In fact, that is a fantastic season. What am I talking about? Who's the last player that could score that many goals? That would have been Diego Costa. Oh, my God. Unbelievable. Nicholas Jackson's getting 20 goals. You heard it here first. I mean, I've already said it. But if you haven't heard me say it before, you heard it now. So, yeah, big up to Nicholas Jackson. Enzo Maresca also said, I don't think the target is Cole. This is when asked about refereeing decisions and obviously the bad fouls. I don't think the target is Cole. I said after the Man United game, when there is a bad intention, it has to be a different punishment from the referee. I'm not saying Wilf had a bad intention because I love Wilf. It's just not our players. Okay, so when he was asked about the red card, he said, I don't think it was a red card for Wilfred Ndidi on Cole Palmer. To be honest, he doesn't think it was a red card. He was also asked about Levi Colwell. He said Levi didn't feel well in the night and in the morning. He could play and finish the game, but hopefully it's nothing. So big up to Colwell for playing, even though he didn't feel at his best. But ultimately, that's what you got to do as a footballer. I'm not really going to sit here and say you should have a lion because no. If you can play, you can play. You've got to play, guys. You've got to make yourself available for these games. Maresca also said regarding Enzo Fernandez, Enzo did very well today. He is doing well since we started. It depends on the game plan. We use different types of players. I think he did very well. And yeah, listen, Enzo Fernandez is finally starting to find his form. The question is, does he continue to be played in this position? Because this system was slightly different to what we've seen in the past. I would like to see it again, but I don't know if this is something that we just did for Leicester because of, other circumstances, or if this is a real tactical tweak that we're going to be utilizing in other games. So that remains to be seen. We'll see what happens. Wesley Fofana said, we like this pressure. We play for this. And to finish at the top, we try and win every single game to stay high. It felt great to come back here to Leicester after 2 incredible years here. And that was via BBC Sport. Interesting to see he still shows respect to Leicester, that they were absolutely hounding him in the stadium. But listen, whatever happened, he responded by playing better. That is the way to do it if you're a footballer. Get in there, perform to the highest of your ability, and we'll go from there. Look who wants to join me. Father, how are you doing, mate?
Yeah, all good, all good.
What is going on with your background?
Oh, it's actually my room, actually.
No. I'm not talking about the drinks. It's flashing everywhere. Why is it flashing so much?
I think it's my camera.
Is it?
Yeah.
Are you able to get rid of it? Not the camera, obviously, but the flashing.
Flashing. One moment. I think it's the. Wait,
Do you have a light? Do you have a light like this?
Oh, that bit. No, let me.
That's what I use. That's how you get rid of the there you go. That's good, man. Much better. Much better.
Yeah.
So listen, Father, I mean, I already spoke with you after the game. To be honest with you, fuck me. I mean, your fan cam. I'll be totally honest with you. I just wanted to go home.
Honestly, I thought that wasn't our best.
You didn't think that was that didn't. I mean, let's go through your fan cam file. I want to watch your fan cam. We'll watch it together. How about that? Let's watch your fan cam with everyone, and then we can dissect it a little bit, because I was very surprised by what you had to say. I was very surprised, not by everything, but just by one or two things. One of the things you said was that Palmer was nullified by Leicester today. So, I mean, do you have a reaction to that? Do you still think that was the case, or do you think that?
Honestly, because I thought, look, the first half, I would say, first 37 minutes, we were all over them. We can all agree to that. But then it felt like somehow every time we try out playing ball from the back, especially the last 7 minutes before the halftime, it was just way too relaxed, just way too casual, lack of intensity, lack of energy. I know you're trying to control the game. It's all about game management, but at the end of the day, just move the ball forward a bit more quicker. And that is why I said what I said earlier, is that the intensity from this, especially from this game, like the first 37 minutes were good, but then after that, it went dip. I don't know what happened. Maybe they were just too tired. Maybe they were not fit to play for this game. I've heard Enzo and Caicedo is not fully like 100% fit. I've heard
Yeah,
Palmer as
man.
well.
That's why I can't be too critical, because I still think it's big that we managed to get the win after the international break. Like, I don't think the performance was the main priority here. I think people need to wake up and realize it's not easy to come back after flying over from South America and then play as well as they did.
You say that, but again, I think we have to look. We have to be. What is it like? We cannot protect some of these players like because they're on 100,000 of backs. At the end of the day, you are.
No, but it's not about money. It's not about money. It's about how their physicality. They're either physically prepared or they're not physically prepared.
Honestly, consistency. That's all I want.
Well, you're seeing
Honestly, good
consistent
performances,
wins.
that's
How
the
is
thing.
that not consistent? We're sitting third in the table.
Yeah, but
We're 1
I can't
point
lie.
behind Man City.
It could have been a lot more further if we didn't drop points.
Well, if we didn't drop points, fucking hell, mate, then we'd win the league. But that's not how it works.
Like you basically like lost about 4 points there. We could have at least point behind Liverpool in that sense.
What points are you talking about?
Look, the games that I feel like this season.
Why are we talking about that? Well, I thought we were just so. Hang on, I don't even know if we're talking about the same thing.
Hang on. Do you want to talk about the performance the whole season, or do you want to talk about basically
Let's watch the fan cam and dissect it. Let's watch the fan cam. All right. I like doing this because I think I don't think we give our fan cams enough.
Hello, everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. It's very wet. It's very cold. My microphone might be broken because there's a lot of rain on it. But Father, we said we're going to get nice and tight for this one, so the microphone doesn't get wet.
Exactly. And you know what? That was the meatiest performance that I could have ever seen before.
What?
That was meaty. I'm sorry, that was so meaty. Look, I would say this. It's a bit controversial. I would say the first half an hour,
Father, the first thing you said after a 2-1 win against Leicester was meaty.
Yes, it was, because based on the fact that not only the last 7 minutes, the first half, but also in the second half. The second half, before that header, like, we have to be real here. The intensity were not there. It was so slow playing from the back. Leicester they were too scared to get forward. It was just like, oh, too casual. Okay, it's a Saturday afternoon. They were too casual. There's not enough intensity, the movement of the ball. Like, it was just not there. Let's be honest here. Like the quick passing, etc. Madueke on the right-hand side again. It's just like something's missing in that second half. But before the Enzo second goal. That's why I said it was media. It was like meh, because Leicester, let's be real here. Leicester didn't do much today. I spoke with the Leicester fan today as well. they just had enough. Because it's been like this for the most of the season. We could have done a lot more from today.
Father, you know, I'd say we haven't been there, but we have 2 or 3 years ago. That's how it felt. That's how it felt for us. We've been there. I mean, it wasn't that bad because we did get 1 or 2 wins every now and again. But I mean, we've had stages like that. I don't know why I'm comparing us to Leicester, but I'm just trying to relate here. Any Leicester fans that are watching, we don't feel your pain in terms of getting relegated, but we feel your pain in terms of watching absolute rubbish every week. Me and Father were there. The Spanish Inquisition says, I will say in this game, in even the last couple against Arsenal, Man U, there hasn't been enough movement off the ball. Do you agree with that, Father?
I agree.
Yeah.
There wasn't enough. It was just like too casual.
Back.
Not enough intensity. Like people saying, oh, it's a great performance, but what is the definition of great performance? What you want to be consistently like talking about how we progressing the ball from the back, how the movement without the ball. I don't know what's actual people's definition about great performance. Oh, we just play good side to side. That's just too basic. Like you want to be critical. You want it to be like, so you want these guys to be improved a lot more. And like the comment says, Arsenal United, especially, I'll say Nottingham Forest as well against their 10 men, Palace at home as well. I'm like, come on, like you could have done a lot more. I know Man City and Liverpool, they were just like 2 anomalies, but other than that, you need to do a lot more, especially in this league. You can't be casual. At times in the second half, I felt like we were just too casual. We were just letting them play their game, but they didn't play their game. Luckily, they didn't because they were that shit.
So you think that we were poor, they were just worse? Is that basically your reaction?
I think we were poor, but they were worse.
I think that's a very negative outlook. I'll be honest with you, Father. I think that's a very negative outlook. We weren't poor. We weren't poor. We weren't.
You know what? I was watching.
Then you would have to look at individuals and say who was poor out of the individuals. Jackson wasn't poor. You could say Palmer was poor. I'll give you that. You could say Madueke was poor. I wouldn't say that about Fernandez. Fernandez was good. He was the man of the match. Caicedo was good. Felix was good. The whole defense was good. So how can I couldn't say that's a poor performance. I've only said 2 players that didn't play well. And maybe Sanchez you could throw into that equation, but he's just irrelevant at this point.
You know what I wish from today, especially from the attackers? I expect a lot more from them. Jesus. Especially because of the pre-expectation.
Why are you so grumpy?
I'm not grumpy. I'm just thinking that it's an ifs, buts, and maybe situation. I'm not that grumpy.
Father. It's not an if, buts, and maybe situation. It's a Chelsea got 3 point situation. That's what it is.
Yeah, great, but I want to see a lot more from them, like especially from today. I want to see a lot more. Like, okay, you win 2-1, but that was the poorest Leicester side. We could have smashed them 5-0 from the get go. Why don't we just bomb it forward from the beginning, like bomb? Like,
I'm in a relationship.
We play against West Ham. Look at West Ham game. We just bombs it forward. We scored 2 goals in the first half. Why can't we do that?
Because, Father, I don't think you've listened to a single thing I've said. I just said, so first of all, we've had the international break. Any team that plays the way that we play suffers from that. That's just a fact. I mean, there are teams out there who can still go and perform. Don't get me wrong, but it's harder. It's harder to play the way we want to play when the players haven't been together. They haven't got that chemistry. They haven't been training together. We've got Enzo and Caicedo. You just said they got back on Friday. What are we talking about? I mean, this is credit to the boys. Credit. Yes, there's things we can do better. Of course there is.
That's the thing.
Anyway, Father, we're never going to watch any of this fan cam if we keep going. I want to see what you have to say.
They're perfectly. But then, the last 7 minutes in the first half, somehow, we just fell asleep. We just let them back into the game. Luckily, you know what? They don't have that quality to finish that final third.
My father, Charlie, do you agree with that? Meaty.
No, it could have been a lot worse. It wasn't like unbelievable, but I don't think it was shit.
I don't think it was that good either as well.
No, we still won today.
We still won, but again, we just question of our.
I don't want to hug you anymore.
The thing, we just want to question of our performance today. But all in all, a bit of media in the first half, and then at the second half, I thought it was too slow.
You think it was a bit up down?
It was a bit up down. Yes, it was a bit too casual, and I thought the guys looked kind of slow today as well. You can see by the lineup as well. Some of them that just came back from the international break, the likes of Enzo, the likes of Caicedo, they got really late back in as well. And I thought some of the guys today were not fully 100%. Were not fully 100% today. Even Palmer, in some ways, that I thought he had a quiet game.
Yeah, he got battered, didn't he?
He got battered big time. And this is the thing that we've kept questioning about whether Palmer can turn up in these kind of small games as well. And we've asked ourselves a big question against Arsenal. But then 2 weeks later, I thought he got nullified a lot by the Leicester players, and they're trying to rattle him today. They're trying to rattle him, and they're trying to get him some injuries as well. So they tried their dark cards, but it didn't work. But at the end of the day, did you know that almost the half of their Leicester midfielders got a yellow card in the first half?
Okay.
And apparently, one of the players should be sent off as well.
Who?
With that wild tackle for Palmer in the first half. I can't remember.
I haven't seen the replay, but there were some dodgy tackles in there.
There was some dodgy tackles, and you can tell that the Leicester players trying to injure the Chelsea players today. And fair play to the lads though, they didn't kind of capitulate it. Normally in this kind of games, when you get tackled, when you get being physical at times, we sometimes get a yellow card and then eventually get suspended the next game. And for me, you have to give credit to the lads today, because I thought discipline was the key today as well. Discipline was.
Who was your man of the match?
Man of the match for me, probably I would say Caicedo and Enzo today. I thought they looked magnificent as well. I thought Cucurella, that was one of a good shot as well. I thought for me, Badiashile looked good at times as well, especially at the back, and Fofana too. And that is the thing that we kept asking about Badiashile, whether he can turn up in these games or not. We've been kind of critical for Badiashile a lot this season, and I thought he answered that critical really well today. And hopefully for me, that my worry thing is that when it comes to in these kind of games, I need Chelsea to kind of turn up consistently, week in, week out, and that's why I feel like when they score the first goal, just get for it, just go for it, just keep going. Don't try to stay back or do anything casual. And again, I don't want to talk about a robot today, but again, Robert Sanchez. How do you let Andre Ayew score that goal and the penalty right at the end? I'm sorry, that's a criminal. I know it's Andre Ayew. He's a Ghanaian, but you should have saved that. I'm sorry.
What's that got to do with his penalty?
He should have saved that. Andre Ayew's a shit player. He should have saved that anyway. But again, we can dissect this in details about how poor our recruitment are, how poor our talent ID there are. And this is the thing. Goalkeeper is a must next summer as well, because this season will be defined whether we can make it the top 4 or not. Robert Sanchez. That's why I feel like he's going to slow our progress to get to the competing with the likes of Man City, competing with the likes of Liverpool. We need to change our goalkeeper. I want to see Jorgensen at least start on one league game this season, maybe let alone in the Boxing Day. Just give Jorgensen a chance. Simple as that.
A Christmas present.
100%. I'll give Jorgensen a chance. A bit of, he might not be that bad. Like people thought he would be. He might not be that bad. At least he tried to do something better than Sanchez did. Every time I say Sanchez today, play out from the back, I always get nervous. I sometimes want to pee in my pants. And I didn't. I almost
just checking.
I almost pee my pants today because of Robert Sanchez. Honestly, honestly, this is.
Maybe you should go to the bathroom at half time instead.
I almost go to the bathroom, but at the end of the day, it didn't happen. But yeah, like I said to you, goalkeeper is a must next summer. Goalkeeper is a must, and we need to strengthen our team, especially in some of the key areas as well. I thought
The real question is, Father, have you been to the bathroom since Chelsea beat Leicester?
I did a couple of times already.
Bloody hell. Fair enough. I don't think we need more detail than that.
Honestly, it's like you get nervous every time you always touch the ball because a couple of times today, man, it's just that he's not built in a system that likes to play the ball from the back. I don't think he suit that. You need a other goalkeeper than Sanchez that can play out from the back. Sanchez is not it. He's like the ball. He's a keeper that likes to hoof the ball really long. That's why like goalkeeper is a priority now next summer, maybe in January, but probably next summer mainly.
Fair enough. But yeah, listen, I mean, we're going to give it a couple minutes, Father, and then I'm going to wrap up. We'll go just before 10 o'clock. But I mean, yeah, I mean, how would you summarize the fan cam as a whole? Do you stand by everything you said?
Yeah, I stand by everything I said. And also, again, I know it's a 12:30 p.m. kickoff, but when one player doesn't turn up, other players got to chip in. That's what I feel like. That's also not only discipline, but other players kind of chip in today, like the likes of Enzo and Jackson and Caicedo. They turn up today as well. So that's the thing. That's the wide picture that we're gonna have for the next couple of weeks now. Like, let's say if Palmer doesn't show up next week, then other players got to step up. Simple as that. Yeah,
I mean, I do think that Palmer was not his best. Maybe that's because of the tackle. I don't know. Sometimes you get a tackle and it can dishearten you a little bit. I don't know. Hazard was a player who loved that. He did really well, but not everybody likes it. It's not easy to keep getting back up. But I mean, I'm sure Palmer has a good mentality. He keeps picking himself up, but he's not in a situation where he was used to it last year, and it's only this year that he's really been picked on. But yeah, I mean, we're getting a lot of goals from Jackson. I think Nkunku at this rate, especially the fact that we're talking about a new striker, he's going to get sold, isn't he? I don't see him staying. Maybe in January he'll stay, but I think he'll get sold in the summer if he doesn't get any more game time.
Yeah, 100%. I won't be surprised if that happens, especially with that United links.
You think he'll go United?
It's a at the moment, yes, but it's still early.
I don't think that we'll sell him to United. I think that there'll be other offers from other teams.
Going back to Bundesliga?
Hey, listen, man. I mean, there's certainly other options out there. Why not go back to the Bundesliga? If there's a team that's willing to cough up money knowing they've got the best goal scorer when he was in the Bundesliga, why not? Why not? Or he could go back to, I don't know. I'm trying to think of teams in demand for a striker. I don't know if there's a slot in France potentially. He is French, so there's that connection. I mean, it's difficult to see him going to Bundesliga teams because they don't pay high wages. They don't really pay big transfer fees. Bayern Munich would be the only one, but I don't see him going there because they've already got Kane.
PSG,
Italy?
maybe?
Yeah, could be Italy. Maybe an Italian move. Any team in particular?
Maybe AC Milan, roughly.
They already got Tammy, though. Well, he's better than Tammy, though, isn't he? I'll get maybe. But they don't like spending a lot of money either. They cough up 50, 60 million.
I think Italy might be a struggle because they're still having that financial situation they need to sort out. PSG. And besides, he's a PSG boy as well. He is a
PSG boy. Maybe he needs to return there. Hey, listen, Father. Always a pleasure, my friend.
Honestly, guys, I know there's a bit disagreement here, but at the end of the day, it's opinion. Like, that's why we dissect it.
It's a game of opinions. That's why I like speaking with you, Father. But yeah, I mean, big up to everyone that's been watching. We've got almost 400 people They've been watching on all platforms. Smash the like button if you haven't already. It makes a huge difference. I don't know if I've already mentioned. I don't think I have today. Omelie, guys. Omelie is. I'm going to be doing a review on Omelie tomorrow with one member of the channel. I don't know who. It might be Kev. It might be Charlie. One of them. And we're going to be talking about everything to do with this game, reviewing it in depth and taking any calls as well. It's like a phone-in show. You don't have to show your face on Amelie. Think of it as like an app for Twitter Spaces. So there is a QR code up above. Scan the QR code. There's also a link in the description. Download Amelie. Did you want to say something, Father?
No. Yeah, just scan the QR code.
Oh, sorry. I saw you mouthing something. I was like, oh, are you trying to speak?
No. I can't lie.
Do you have Amelie?
Yeah, just big up Amelie.
Father, do you have it?
On my phone? No, I need to delete some of the applications first. My phone is full. I got lots of apps, to be fair. I have to be honest. I don't want to say it here, but
can you type it in the private chat, please? Don't know if I want to know this. Okay. What's so bad about that? Can I not share that? That's not that bad.
I mean, yeah. Let's just say a dating app, guys.
Multiple dating apps.
Exactly.
Father, have you? I'm surprised you had enough time to come on here. You must be too busy chatting with the girls.
Yes, at the end of life, isn't it, on a Saturday night, especially.
What's it? What does a typical Saturday look like without Chelsea?
Basketball, mostly basketball. I think I'm gonna sleep early as well because I'm gonna wake up early for the Vegas race tomorrow morning. And yeah, but other than that, basketball or Netflix.
So that you don't use the dating apps, then you just watch basketball.
Yeah, just at this time I normally use the dating app, but
why do you have them then?
Well, I don't know, man. Like, there's not enough girls that it's interesting enough.
What do you mean? There's not enough girls? There's loads.
Yeah, they're all meaty. All I want is Asians. Yeah, exactly.
Father, you're on smoke today. You know that, my friend. You are on smoke today.
Exactly.
Well, listen, guys. Download Amelie. Father, you need to download Amelie as well. Add us up, Chelsea Fan TV. You can add me up as well on there, and you'll get notifications whenever I go live, and you can jump on and have your say regarding anything Chelsea. But listen, big up to everyone that's watching. Thanks for coming on as well, Father. Always a pleasure, mate. And let's catch up very, very soon.